All right, all right. Welcome to Let's Sip Tea with Quad Divas Radio Station. We're here live today. We have Miss Chrissy. How you doing, Miss Chrissy?
I'm doing very well, doing very well. Glad to be here with these young ladies. School has been out. Each one of you can tell me how you been going. How's things been going?
Things have been going good for me.
Good.
It's been really interesting. It's really interesting.
Okay.
For me, it's been good, but also boring.
Boring? Oh
Yeah.
my goodness. Because what, you don't have much to do now especially with all the pandemic stuff going on, huh?
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of tough to get out and get moving and try to do things, I guess. So, what have you guys been trying to do since all this has happened? I mean, this has been a strange school year for you guys, hasn't it? How did that turn out for you guys to be doing things from home?
Well, for me, doing homeschool, I didn't really like it. I'd rather be in school than to like for school.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree with her. Like, it's really boring to not see the faces who I see almost every day.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. What about you?
I agree with them. I'd rather be at school because it's better at school.
Better at school. Is it
Miss your
better?
friends?
Yeah, you miss your friends?
Yes, a
Yeah,
lot.
a lot. So y'all have to talk. Do y'all have to FaceTime?
Yes.
Am I saying it correct? FaceTime.
Yes.
All right, that's good. That's good. Well, and have you guys had to interact with your teachers in any way other than
Yes.
just online, or y'all call each other, or how did that work?
Um. Well, sometimes I'll like email my teachers or I'll text them over our little classroom thing that we work on, and I'll ask them questions about the work.
Oh, okay, okay.
I would have to FaceTime my teacher on my iPad,
Mm-hmm.
and we would just talk about grades.
No, okay.
Depending on what we're doing that day, most times we just do it from Google Classroom. But if you want extra credit or need help, you can like FaceTime them through Google or something.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Okay, okay. So was that tough to get online with them? Sometimes did it kick y'all off? Because I know with working from home, sometimes it would like boot us off the system. Did y'all have to experience any of that? You didn't experience? Okay.
Yes, I
You
did
did.
one time
Mhm.
because like my iPad just wasn't working. I wasn't connected to the internet, and it just kicked me off.
Oh, okay. And you said you also experienced some issues. Really?
Yes, ma'am. It happened because I was trying to get into this Edgenuity, but then it wouldn't let me in because it wasn't working.
Oh, okay. Okay. Well, through all of this, did you guys get pretty nervous about everything that was going on? Or did you not really understand what all was going on?
Um, for me, when I first heard about the pandemic, it wasn't here yet. I don't think so until it like started spreading,
Hmm.
and I was like, I didn't really understand until like people started, passing away. I really wasn't understanding what was going on until we had to get out of school, and I was like, well, this is getting really serious. But
Yeah.
first, I didn't really understand.
Right.
I didn't really understand what was happening, like she said, because it was just okay, there's a virus going around. Until they started shutting down businesses, it was like, okay, this is getting a little too serious.
Right. Right. Did you understand it at all?
I understood it,
Mhm.
but I didn't actually care at first because once we got out, it was already spring break. So I was like, oh, it's just spring break. They're just making it a little bit longer. Then I
Right.
realized that we're not going back to school this year.
Right. Exactly. So couldn't hit you as hard right then because it was a normal time to be out.
Yes.
And then when it kept extending spring break. Yeah, that's true. That's true. So you guys have actually been hit with a double whammy this year. I mean, it's been going on before now, obviously, and with, as your topic states, being black in America. Uh, I know you guys have heard and seen on the news the different things that are going on between the police and our people. So how have you guys felt about all of that? We'll go with you first.
For me, I just feel like it's really time to make a change because this has really been going on for like a really long time. Racism and police brutality and inequality. It's just really been happening for a really long time, and I just feel like it just needs a change. But for there to be a change, everybody just has to be on one page. Everybody has to think the same. Everybody has to want the same.
You're right. That's true.
Police brutality has gotten really serious this year,
Mm-hmm.
and I just feel like we just need to come together as a world, as a community, and just work through these situations together.
Right.
Well, I think what the police is doing is very bad, but I feel like, well, people already have been getting hurt just from protesting. And some people aren't even, like, protesting, like, starting a riot, and they're just trying to hurt black people.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I'm sure you've heard that with the protesters, they've been infiltrated by people, just like you said, that aren't there for the real truth. They want to make it seem like the black people are being bad. And it's not all black people that are protesting. So, that's a good thing. It's like y'all just stated earlier, a lot of people are coming together and marching, trying to make people more and more aware of how serious this really is. So, well, I asked y'all, did the pandemic frighten y'all, this virus? Does that police brutality kind of frighten y'all, or you try not to think about it? How do you feel about that?
Well, for me, it frightens me. Like sometimes when I see like a cop or something, I'll get like a little nervous, like in my stomach. I'll get like I don't know what's gonna happen.
Right.
But it frightens me. But I just continue to just pray and hope that this all can just go away and everybody can just have the same mindset.
Right. Right.
It frightens me because I don't want to wake up to another day thinking, is somebody going to pull us over and just get hurt? Is things going to go sideways?
Right.
For me, I wasn't actually that frightened. I just try to stay positive and think what will happen at the end of all this.
That's true. That's true. That's good attitude. That's good attitude. I mean, all of you have spoken very well on it, on your feelings. You have every right to feel exactly how you do. I mean, it is kind of frightening, but you still have to live, like you said, and you're doing the best you can. You're not out here doing anything on your own that's against the law. So, and it's affecting our young men and young women as well. So that's why I'm glad you guys are here to speak about that. I'll kind of open the floor for you guys to speak on whatever issues and things y'all have thought about right now, or if y'all want to ask us some questions about things as the adult side of it. Can't tell you I'll have all the answers, but I'm here to try to help you through it.
I think when we are protesting for Black Lives Matter and things like that,
Mm-hmm.
when you burn down the businesses, especially black businesses, I saw a guy who was very sad because they were fighting for Black Lives Matter, but then they're burning down these businesses that are owned by black people.
Right.
So I just don't think that's very right of them.
Right. Yeah. And do you think that's the protesters themselves or the infiltrators, the people that are there to make it appear that it's us burning our own stuff?
I think it's kind of both.
Mm-hmm.
Because I feel like the protesters just tagged along with the infiltrators, and they just felt more comfortable just burning down those businesses.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Either of you, how do y'all feel?
Well, I have a question.
Okay.
I know it's summertime,
Mm-hmm.
and I know everyone wants to get out, but do you think it's a good idea for all the business and malls and swimming pools and stuff to open back up?
Me personally, kind of being on the healthcare field side, I'm in clinical research. I would say no. I know economically what we need, we do need that. The businesses, I don't want to see businesses have to close because of this. but almost do it like by appointment, to keep your crowds down when they're there at some of these places. It's almost like a doctor's office in my mind. It's like set appointments so only, if your facility normally can hold 100 people, then bring it down to 25 people at a time, or something like that to make sure to stay social distance. I mean, but that sounds like an easy fix. I'm not sure how that would work, like you said, at a pool. I mean, but if it's a huge pool, I guess only having 25 people in there, they can stay spaced out. But that's a tough question to try to figure out how they can work it and still help these businesses, maintain. I mean, it's tough to see because nobody went into business in order for it to fail. So, you know, but that's kind of how I look at it. Like, let's make some appointments, block off time for a certain amount of people at a time, and let them flow in, flow out. Even Walmart, as huge as they are, and the Targets, I noticed they have people flow in one side only and come out another side. So, you know, just some of them have signs on the floor, only go this way on the aisle, only go that way on another aisle. Try to make the traffic keep flowing that way. Doesn't work all the time, but do you have any questions or anything
Um,
or comments? Things on your mind?
I just want racism to just be over. But for me, I feel like personally, I feel like racism is just always gonna be here
Right.
because people just I don't know, people just don't like somebody else because of the color of their skin. But I feel like we can make a change.
Right.
Police brutality, they don't, when they see a black man or a black woman, they don't automatically have to think, oh, that person did a crime just because of the color of their skin. They can change their mindset.
Right. That's true. That's
Yeah.
true. I mean, Trevor Noah, I don't know if you guys know who that is. I might be a little bit older than y'all and watch him, but he even stated, he wrote a book, actually, says being born a crime. And that's because he's from Africa. His mother at that time married a white man. That was a crime in Africa. So him being born of mixed race was a crime. And so I feel like, just like you stated, it's kind of being a crime for our black skin. Even though we know this skin is beautiful. This is some beautiful melanin, and perhaps that's the problem. I don't know. I mean, um, but and then again to reiterate what Trevor Noah recently said was about the police being a gang. They're like the biggest gang ever, and they stay on code because they protect their brothers. They call each other the brothers there, and they don't ever go against one another. And it's like that means you're supporting someone when they're wrong, even when you know they're wrong, and we all know that's not right. You know, I do kind of agree with you. I think there's going to always be some form of prejudices, just because people are humans. So you know you're going to dislike someone for whatever reason. The way she wears her hair, or or something, but not to the extent that anyone needs to lose their lives.
Um, I read on my phone about this young black man getting shot by the police,
Mm-hmm.
and I don't feel some police are good, and they want to protect themselves because a policeman, that's a very scary job.
Right.
But this man, he was the one who was actually resisting the arrest,
Mm-hmm.
and he shot him.
Mm-hmm.
But since all of this, the protesters and things like that are going around, they thought it was the policeman's fault, and that's why he was sent to jail. But I don't feel like that was actually his fault if he was trying to run away from them and just try to shoot back at them.
Okay. I think you're speaking on this last incident
Yes.
where he was asleep in his car?
Yes.
Okay. To put that in perspective for you, he did not have a gun. He should not have ran, but I mean, possibly he was afraid, when he ran. But do you still think that means, and I'm not trying to convince you, I just want you to understand, he did not have a gun. The police their lives weren't in jeopardy. He had one of their tasers.
Yes.
And they knew it was a taser. And a taser is less likely to kill you compared to a bullet. So, do you still think they had the right to shoot him with a bullet? Because he actually died.
No, I don't think that part was okay. I felt
Right.
like they should have just tased him instead
Right.
of shooting him,
Right.
because I mean, the guns can still kill you, but
Yeah.
I don't really think that part was okay. But the fact that he ran away and
Right.
had a taser on
Right.
the cops,
Mm-hmm.
I felt like that was just a time where you should tase him before he gets you.
Right. And it was 2 against 1.
Yeah.
He had a partner there, and I think that's the more of the uproar that people are having about it. It's like, if you can't subdue a drunk man, and it's 2 of you, then what's wrong with that picture? It's like, how'd you let the drunk man get away from you? I mean, and that's not making light of the situation, because this man's life is gone, and his wife and children are without him now, but it's just that we are as black people, being handled in a whole different way compared to other races. So, that's where people are really tired, so. Well, do you guys have any other questions about this? I mean, this is y'all's topic, y'all's floor. So,
I have one more question for
Mhm.
you.
okay.
How do you, since you're in the high risk zone,
Mm-hmm.
how do you feel about people coming close to you without masks, gloves, and protection?
As long as I have my mask on, I mean, I think it's somewhat of ignorance on their part that they don't understand that this is still a very serious situation. But, I mean, like now it's mandated that we wear masks. Our mayor and all have stated that now here in Dallas, that yes, we go ahead and wear masks, make it mandatory. But prior to that, if it wasn't mandatory, then you had people not doing it. All the different stores and facilities still have signs that say you can't enter without a mask. So, the ones that don't have masks, if I'm just out in general public, I still try to keep my distance, even though I have my mask on. I definitely still try to wash my hands and do all the basic precautions. It's like you guys stated a little earlier, you still have to live. So you can't let yourself get too paranoid about the situation, and get wrapped up in this, because it can kind of drive you cuckoo a little bit, if you think on it too hard. I think it's sad that we had to start telling people to do basic stuff like wash your hands. But believe me, I've seen people that don't. Even before this pandemic happened, they go in the bathroom, come straight out. That kind of stuff. So, it is what it is, girls. They have to try to tell them the basic stuff. Wash your hands, wash your hands, stomp your feet. Kind of deal. I think you were going to have a comment.
I don't have anything else right now.
You don't have anything else right now? I mean, I'm trying to touch on different things with being black in America. At school, have y'all run across things when y'all were in school, in class? Did y'all have issues there with different people that you went to school with, or school teachers even?
No, they just gave us a lot of work.
Just gave y'all a lot of work. That had nothing to do with your race, does it?
I had an incident when I was in 3rd grade, and this boy came up to me because we had gotten into a little argument, and he called me the N-word.
Oh, wow. In
And
third
then,
grade. How old are you when you're in third grade? Lord, it's been so long for me. Jesus.
but then he like threatened to like call his dad because his dad is a police officer, and he
Mm.
threatened to like call his dad on me and my mom. And I
Oh,
just
wow.
stepped away from that situation and just told my teacher.
You're right. So, wow. That's interesting. So that tells me that there's a little bit of home training that's being done, that he automatically knows to call the police. Because I'm sure y'all have seen and heard some of the stuff about they're calling them Karens. You know, the white ladies calling the police on, like, the little girl that was just selling water on the sidewalk to people that, you know, it was hot day and she's trying to help out. And the white woman called police on her. You know, here recently, white lady in the park, in Central Park, I think it was, and it's a leash law there. You should have your dog on the leash. A black man walking through, and so he asked her to put her dog on the leash. She wouldn't, and then she started pretending he was threatening her. And all he was doing was saying, "Ma'am, put your dog on the leash. It's on the, it's leash law." And she called the police. And she started screaming and acting as if he was really coming at her, So that's interesting that you went through that in third grade. I mean, man, that really means they're training that way. And so what do y'all think we need to do as a race? I mean, because if they're being trained that way, you feel like I know we already tell our young men if they're pulled over in a car how to do, keep your hands where they can be seen, things like that. But do you think there's other things that we could do to just teach y'all to be a little stronger growing up, or how to deal with situations as parents and aunts and uncles and just y'all's village?
I feel like if you get stopped by the police, I feel like you should automatically step out the car and just tell the police I have no weapons on me, I am clear, and just say like you can check me, I have nothing on me, just so you can just be prepared.
Yeah. I can tell you this: stepping out of the car will definitely immediately be seen as a threat because they think that you're coming out. So I would say roll down all the windows if they're not already down, so that they can see directly into the car. They can't claim that, oh, well, the windows are tinted. I didn't know what she was doing in the back, or I didn't know what she was doing in the passenger side. I think I would say that now, like roll down all the windows, even if it's daytime, so they can see, until we can get everybody to figure this thing out, I think, there's bad people in every profession, but this has gotten turned into like they're soldiers out here hunting us down, tracking us down. They're shooting first and asking questions never. I can't even say later. It's kind of turning into that. Well, I know you actually won Miss Junior Juneteenth last year.
Yes.
And part of your platform was on bullying and things like that. Did you see the police as bullies?
Yes.
You do?
Yes.
Yeah, big time, huh?
Yes.
Yeah, they kind of get a little bit out of hand with stuff like because some of these stops that are caught on camera, I see them as bullies as well. Because, the people are complying and they still like in their face trying to egg them on or something, So that's pretty bad when we try to claim we're going to protect y'all from bullying and then the adults are bullying. So do y'all have anything to tell the adults to get their stuff together while they trying to teach y'all, while we trying to teach y'all stuff, and then we're doing what we telling y'all not to do? That's not a good look, is it? Man, that's something. So what have you been able to do anything about, like, did you see bullying in your school and that's what made you take that platform up, or had you been bullied?
Well, it wasn't really like bullying. It was just like somebody like I didn't really take it as bullying.
Mm-hmm.
I just took it as like somebody being mean and teasing. It was when I was in elementary,
Mm-hmm.
but I wouldn't say I was being bullied.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, it was when I was in elementary.
And they were teasing you or teasing someone else.
It was like it was me,
Mm-hmm.
but it was like it was kind of like being mean,
Okay.
like saying stuff.
Okay.
But I didn't really like take it like personal. I was just like, okay.
And was that? Do you think it didn't hit you as hard because of the way your parents had been teaching you and helping you be a strong person? That's good. That's good. What would you say to the kids whose parents are just like they're just trying to make it? They're busy. They got jobs that aren't paying them that much, so they having to work long hours, and so it doesn't mean that they're not paying attention to their kids. They just have a lot going on with them, and the kids don't have that backing that you had to help them be strong. What would you say to them to try to help them be strong? Or like, could they go to somebody else? Or what would your advice be?
Um, for me, I would tell them, ask them maybe to go talk to a friend if they don't have a friend.
Mm-hmm.
They can talk to a cousin. They can talk to a family member.
Right.
They can talk to a teacher at school.
Right.
Just get advice from them.
Yeah. Somebody to help them out, huh? But what about you guys? Have y'all witnessed the bullying or been bullied in school or somebody just being mean to people?
Well, there's this one little girl. She was just like just being mean and threatened me like in school when I was in the bathroom.
Mm-mm.
And I was just like, so I didn't take it as bullying, like she said,
Mm-hmm.
because it was a one-time thing.
Okay.
But and then after this, we had to go talk with the principal and stuff.
Okay.
It just started being nice to me, and that I guess that just changed her.
Do you think she was jealous of you or something? Where y'all think this is coming from?
I feel like she was only jealous because I think I bought some new shoes that day, and she was younger than me. She was in another grade,
Okay.
like second grade, and I was in third.
Mm-hmm.
And she was just like, then she just wanted me to do something for her, and I was like, no.
Right.
She just threatened me.
Well, man, you keep talking about third grade. Lord Jesus, you done had a rough go in third grade, ain't you? Y'all some little gangbangers in third grade. Boy, what's going on third grade, man? Well, I'm glad you got past third grade, girl.
Yeah.
All right, all right. Well, what about you? You witnessed anybody or?
I never been bullied myself,
Mm-hmm.
but I seen one of my friends. She wasn't actually like bullied, but like she didn't actually eat like her lunch, but she didn't even like really eating. So when she didn't want to eat her lunch, people would come over. They wasn't even her friends. They'd be like, "Hey, what's up?" And they'd be like, "Can I have food?" And then one day she actually said no, and then they was like, "Why not?" And then they started getting closer. I was like, "Wait."
Yeah, so they were just
up.
gonna take her food.
Yeah,
huh?
so I was like, "Wait, back
Wow.
up. This is not yours." And
Exactly.
they was like, "Okay," and then they walked away.
Yeah, so you stood up for her then, helped her stand up for herself even by telling them to back away or whatever. Yeah, that's good. That's good. I mean, everybody needs friends like that they know will stand with them when they know they're doing what's right and everything. And just because she didn't want to eat right then, maybe she want to eat later. It's her food. So, well, that's good. That's really good. I mean, it's tough all the way around, I think, and y'all's topic of being black in America covers all aspects. You guys are in school, but y'all are witnessing a lot of things, and for you guys being young ladies, y'all have seen or heard at least. I mean, I hope y'all haven't seen a lot of the tragic stuff, but it's kind of hard to keep it away from you. But at least have heard about a lot of black women as well have been abused or killed by the police also. I mean, there's just like there's a lot of young black men, there's a lot of young black women that have lost their lives, either in police custody or, even in their own homes, so it's like, well, how do you explain that one? I'm at my own house, like we are just chilling now, hanging out. We're doing something positive. And then they got killed. They lost their lives. I can say we want to wrap it up with a little bit. If y'all have final comments, I'll let y'all say final comments before we wrap up with things. Do y'all have anything else about being black in America or just the pandemic?
Oh, I have
Yeah.
something.
Okay.
I don't think it's right for, like, you know how, like, there could be at least a good 6 policemen on the job going
Mhm.
after, like, 2 or 1 person, but 1 person kills the person that was running away, but
Yeah.
why doesn't the other police say anything?
Right. Exactly. They do not speak up, even though they know it's just wrong. They didn't have to kill that person. I think that's people need to understand, don't you guys, that that's really what we're saying is you shouldn't be killed for the things that they have stopped these people for. A lot of them, it's like some of it warranted, take them to jail. A lot of it was a ticket and a fine, and these people lost their lives for it. So I agree with you 100%. It's just like the last young man who's deceased that you were talking about. I mean, it's 2 officers on a guy that they gave him the field sobriety test and it said he was drunk. He even offered to walk home. So, I mean, I know that's not the norm that you would release him and let him walk home, not drive, but why was he not just taken down and it's called a holding tank? Put him in a holding tank, let him sleep it off, sober up. He comes out of there still alive, with a fine and, go before the courts and be done with it. But unfortunately, his wife, and this is Father's Day weekend, so, his children have lost their father. And that's very tragic, So, so any other comments from you guys?
Um, I just feel like when a police, I just want the police, like when a police officer is doing something wrong, I feel like that another police officer should like stand up and tell them.
Right.
Like the death of George Floyd,
Mm-hmm.
when he had his knee on his neck,
Yes.
there was like 3 police officers there. They could have told him,
Yeah.
like, no, this is not, you're not gonna do this. Get
Right.
off, because they knew it was wrong. They could have
Yes.
said, get off of him.
Right.
You're gonna kill him.
Right.
He was pleading out. He was begging. I can't breathe.
Right.
They could have just put him. He wasn't even resisting.
Yeah.
He was just sitting on it. He was just
On the ground.
Yes.
Yeah, on the ground. That's
they
true.
could have told him, get off of him. Get off of him. You're gonna kill him. You're
Right.
gonna kill him.
Right. And does that? I mean, that was very gut wrenching. Everybody. I mean, all of these lives that are gone. It's just ridiculous. It's sad. But I think the fact that, do you feel like, I don't know if you saw the video, but do you feel like we actually just watched him die? And I think that's what made this resonate even deeper with everybody. Because, like you said, he could have gotten up at any point. This man was already cuffed and on the ground. So you have him subdued, and instead you have one standing telling everybody to back up with the videos. And then the other 2 are on his legs and stuff like he was trying to do something, So I agree, they're bullies. We got a lot of bullies out there. Like I said, believe it or not, there's bad people in every profession, unfortunately, because, people are people. But we got to change this dynamic because even in the other professions, they're not killing people. They just, as you said, you guys saying they're being mean to some people, but they're not killing them. That's the difference, So the loss of life is what is major. I want to reference, thank you guys for being on here with us and talking about this and just sharing your feelings and stuff because you guys matter. You're not to be quiet and stuck in a corner. This stuff is going on right here with you all during y'all's time of growing up when it should just be pleasurable and having fun and enjoying life, And so y'all have had some heavy topics happen with you guys, especially with this past school year, So the police brutality has been happening all along, but Now you have a pandemic on top of it, you know. So that's a lot to deal with and stomach. And I appreciate y'all sharing your feelings. Like we touched on earlier, you guys, I appreciate you young ladies. I want you to know you're beautiful, smart, intelligent young ladies. We're glad to have you on here. And want to kind of follow in tradition with the talk show that comes on during the week and their show on Monday. Cheryl Underwood and Eve and the other ladies on there, they spoke on some of the women that have been killed by the police. And we're going to end this with you guys because I feel like you all are representative of those young ladies who have lost their lives and everything. And I would like for you guys to just name off your people for me. And that's how we're going to go out. We're going to end this session. And again, thank you all very much for being on here. Jay.
And I see what's being done to my I am Ayana Stanley Jones. Every day. I am Ayana Stanley Jones. I'm being called to this parade.
I am Brianna Taylor.
I am Natasha McKenna. I am Tatiana Jefferson.
I am Tanisha Anderson.
I am Palma Turner. I am Charlena Lies.
I am Kayla Moore.
I am Sandra Brown.
I'm a young black man.
I am Ayana Stanley Jones.
I am Brianna Taylor.
I am Natasha McKenna. I am Tatiana Jefferson.
I am Tanisha Anderson.
I am Palma Turner. I am Charlena Lies.
I am Kayla Moore.
I am Sandra Bland.
Thank y'all.
I just wanna live. God protect me. I just wanna live.
We do not own the rights to this music. I forgot to say that.